It's because I enjoy that bit, really. But the other thing about when they all stand up, you realise that there's sort of close to 200 people here dressed very oddly. And I think mine is probably one of the oddest. I don't normally wear red and silver brocade. This is only for special occasions. But I wanted to say that to draw attention to the fact that we're all wearing this academic dress, and I want to say something about that. Academic dress is a tradition that evolved in what we today tend to call the ancient universities, Oxford and Cambridge, but more widely afield, the Sorbonne in Paris, Heidelberg, Bologna, and other institutions. And those universities sort of first came into being about 800 years ago as communities of scholars, people who came together to study, write, teach, and no doubt argue. There are some things that don't change in universities over time. And they wore academic dress to symbolize membership of those communities. Of course, becoming part of those communities didn't mean they had to pass any exams, and I suspect that our new graduates would be quite envious of that. But what was important about it was that the academic dress marked them out as part of a community with the responsibilities for spreading, preserving, maintaining learning and knowledge, and for using that knowledge in the wider service of the community. And that's another thing that I don't think has changed very much. And today we are celebrating the idea that the graduates receiving their degrees are becoming part of this community of the learned, and also becoming part of a privileged minority. And I said, to have a degree is to be part of a minority. Graduates tend to earn more money than non-graduates and are more likely to be in positions of influence. Clearly, those are valuable privileges, but ones that bring responsibility, that of using your education to the benefit of society as a whole. And I hope you won't think I'm being too solemn if I remind our graduates that for all that they have paid fees to the university, the bulk of the costs of their education has actually come from taxpayers, and most of the taxpayers who've covered those costs are earning appreciably less than many of our graduates are already doing. However, there's another sense as well in which, as graduates, you become members of a community, part of the UWE family. The university has a long history. It goes back to 1595, and the details are in the back of the programme, but only became a university 13 years ago. And the inauguration of the university was marked by a ceremony in this cathedral. And on that occasion, the Vice-Chancellor stood in this pulpit and set out a vision for the future of the university. I was sitting down there somewhere, and I remember thinking that what he said was a very ambitious vision, the sort of thing that Vice-Chancellors are sort of expected to say on such occasions, but not really something that we ought to take seriously as a projection for the future of the institution. Looking back now, 13 years later, the vision that he drew up has been exceeded. The university has developed a name and a reputation, making it very widely respected, not only in the UK, but internationally as well. It's grown in scale. This year there will be over 27,000 students in the university. And the quantity and quality of the research has grown dramatically. And Professor Winfield, I was particularly impressed by your summary of some of the recent research developments in your opening words. And of course the university is one of the largest employers in the area. This year over 5,000 people will work for the university at some point. So the university has achieved a great deal, and I'm confident it'll go on doing so. And the most important part of the achievement of that is owed to the staff of the university. So on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor, I want to thank all the staff of the Faculty of Computing, Engineering and Mathematical Sciences for their very considerable achievements, both in terms of their teaching and their research. And I, as some of you may know, can speak with particular knowledge of this faculty since I was, until fairly recently, the Dean. So I know full well the very considerable strengths of the staff of the faculty. Professor Winfield, members of the faculty, on your behalf and that of the university, I welcome all today's graduates into the university's family, and I declare this congregation for the conferment of degrees closed.